Remember always that a wise man walks with his head bowed, humble like the dust.
Mate, it's your round. We're all waiting. Come on, you're coming out with all this. Stop being tight. Get the beer in. Hello and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. And this week we're going to be covering The Water Margin 1973. Now you're saying that we didn't get it till 1976. Now it was made in Japan in 1973 and 74. There were 2 seasons of this. We did not get it till 76 till 78. We got it on BBC Two. Why I remember this? Because the Waltons were on, the Goodies, and the Water Margin. I remember this very well. And when the Goodies finished, MASH came in. So, and I remember that night specifically. I don't know why I need a life, but I do remember the BBC showed this, the whole series. And then a few years later, we got Monkey, which is a classic. Now, a lot of people might not have heard of the Water Margin. It's based on great classical novels of Chinese literature. And I don't know if this is the full story. I've never read it. I've done some research into this. This is like really amazing literature. Now, I bought this series on Blu-ray last week. And I sat through the entire 26 episodes. And it was absolutely amazing. It's hilarious in parts, the characters. Maybe it's the dubbing, I don't know. But it's a story of good versus evil. We have a villain called Kao Chiu, who's the Emperor's favourite, taking over the empire. He's after Lin Chung's wife. She ends up sacrificing herself because he wants her. And Lin Chung gets framed by Kao Chiu, and basically it's 4 episodes of Lin Chung's journey to prison because he's so honourable, but he gets helped on his way by certain heroes like the Tiger Hunter. There's a dude that can run faster than an arrow, and he just looks like he just teleports all over the screen. I mean, this has been good fun watching this. Now they have remade this. It's in Chinese. It's on Netflix, actually, The Water Margin. So I've not seen that version, but I've heard it's meant to be spectacular. I think it's more adapted to the actual novels. So the novel, they were written hundreds of years ago. It's like Shakespeare. You know, it's classical literature in Chinese culture. So this is what we got on BBC Two. It was made in Japan, and it's been really enjoyable. So the Water Margin is known for its sometimes obscure but memorable philosophical quotes, such as "Do not despise the snake for having no horns, for who is to say it will not become a dragon." The first 10 episodes were shown on BBC One from 21st of September 1976 to 23rd of November 1976. The final 3 episodes were shown just before the series, so from 20th of September 1977 to 4th of October 1977. Now, I'd never seen the final episode to this. When I saw the final episode, I couldn't believe it because I remember it as a kid and I was fascinated by it. You know, the whole thing of this. Now, I will say that Burt Kwouk, a fantastic icon actor in the Pink Panther, he did so much stuff. I'm such a fan of this guy. And I think he was like an icon. I think everybody in this country just loved him. You know, I was such a fan of the guy. He was fantastic in Pink Panther. And he's been around on so many films and that. He does the narration at the beginning.
The ancient sages said, "Do not despise the snake for having no horns, for who is to say it will not become a dragon?"
So there's quite a bit of history with this program. There ain't a lot of clips, and there ain't much about it. Well, there's a documentary about when they dubbed it, which was sort of quite interesting, but it's only about 6 minutes long. It is on YouTube. Now, I were hooked on this all weekend. There's magic in it, sorcery, this thing of honor, incredible. I mean, there's a great scene with Lin Chung, who takes on one of the deadly swordsmen. He's in charge of the police, and Kao Chiu, the villain, sends him after him. And there's a 2-day sword fight where they just stare at each other for 2 days.
I'm Yang Chi and I kill. Death to Lin Chung, if you know him.
I am Lin Chung.
Then make ready to die. Ah! Only I fight this man. I'll kill anyone who intervenes.
Glacier or torrent, torrent and glacier, both at last will reach the sea. As only the greatest masters can, each knows the other to be an equal, knows that victory will come to him who waits for a tiny weakness in the other.
And I love it. There's this like 2 days scene of a sword fight, and it's raining and snowing and the sun and a grasshopper on a piece of glass blade. It's amazing. You sort of like, and everybody's just stood there for 2 days watching these two titans fight it out, which is just amazing, you know.
The dust. It's in Lin Chung's eyes.
Lin Chung wins the fight after they stare off for 2 days, and then he ends up anyway. To cut it all short, he joins the Anshan Port. The leader's corrupt. Lin Chung sort of takes him out, and I mean, Lin Chung could take out a fucking predator, not a problem. This guy is just a killing machine, but he's got this sense of decency and honor about him, and that's what you just love. Now, there's some crazy characters in this. There's like Tiger Hunter, like the guy I said with the arrow, move faster than an arrow. There's a guy with 2 axes, and he's like super strong. I mean, they're all like, apparently it's 108, 109 warriors, right? Because Kao Chiu in the first episode breaks into a temple. It's forbidden, only an emperor can open it. And he sees his name on a stone, he smashes it, and all these stars escape. And apparently this is the 9 reincarnated heroes that will stop evil. Now, the villain Kao Chiu is amazing. He's just completely evil, you know, in this. He really is. There's numerous adventures every week in different situations, and villains being sent out to take out the Anshan Po. They're stopping the villainous acts by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the villain Kao Chiu, he's like up to nefarious schemes. He wants to become emperor. The emperor himself he's like a teenager. He's locked up. He's in the royal palace, not allowed out. He hasn't got a clue what's going on. And Kao's sort of like plotting his way up, like knocking people off and blackmailing, and he's put all the corrupt people in. I mean, there's a load of stuff how this society works, but the Anshan Po, they're like the heroes. They undo it all every week. But the final 3 episodes are the best because it's about getting all these warriors together that have been reincarnated to bring them all together to bring down this evil. And it all ends up with the Anshan march on Peking. And Gao's in there. He's like, just everybody's starving. They've run the country into the ground, and all the heroes come together. You've got the Blue Dragon, the guy with blue tattoo on his face, and you've got all these characters. There's 2 lady characters as well. She's a swordsman, and she's a babe, and they all get together and they make the move on it all. And the final episode is really impressive when they get the villain, because he just lost the plot. They get him in the desert, and it's like they're all surrounding him, this like standoff, because he's lost everything. And Lin Chung won't kill him because he's so delusional. All his followers have died in desert with him, and Lin Chung stands over him and he won't accept the reality. It's like, it's like he won't, about what he's done, because he threatens to come back, and Lin Chung just like decides to take him out. And that's basically it. But it's the adventure. Now, the soundtrack to this is exemplary. I just love the intro to this. And there was a single release, I think, by the BBC. So now you're going to ask, is The Water Margin a classic? Fuck yeah, it's a classic. I do recommend you watch this. I really enjoyed this. You can get it on DVD and off Amazon. I got the Blu-ray and I've loved it. So after all this, I'm sorry, guys, there ain't a lot of clips of it. I've been looking. So I'm going to put it through. Water Margin, you are a classic. You have just been a sheer pleasure to watch. I'll see you on the next episode.
Glacier or torrent, torrent and glacier, both at last will reach the sea. As only the greatest masters can, each knows the other to be an equal.